So when it comes to muscle growth, we need to understand how much progress you can expect to make. And this is important because a lot of people don't know how to gauge progress and don't know what to expect. And this can skew their perception of when they need to start ramping up food or if something's broken. And we essentially need to understand how much progress we can expect to make, or we're trying to figure out how to make, and ultimately manage all the variables around that. So when it comes to muscle growth, typically, it really depends on your genetics and what stage of your training journey you're at. But really, if you're training as much as you can with relatively average genetics and you're at a pretty average stage of your muscle growth journey, you're doing everything right in terms of nutrition and training, and I've got plenty of videos on everything, all of those different things, you're sleeping well every night. Generally speaking, in my opinion, you should aim to increase your body weight by about 0.25% to 0.5%. 0.5% in extreme cases, let's say for example you're a 100 kilogram person, then that would be 0.25 kilograms per week, or even 0.5, although I would argue 0.5 is on the much more aggressive end and you're probably running into the territory of adding some body fat at that stage. It really depends on how aggressive you want to be, but understand that there will be variance across human beings in that some people are really genetically gifted and some people can add 0.5% of their body weight every single week and be adding almost no visible body fat. And that's all well and good. And if that turns out to be you, judge by the way you look, judge by what the scales are saying. If that turns out to be you, fantastic. Don't let the next person who's only capable of growing 0.25% of their body weight per week tell you that that's wrong, because you might have better genetics than them. Also, there's other considerations, like if you're a newbie in the gym, then you're really not going to be abiding by the same rate of progress as somebody who's 20 years deep into training. You'll expect to be able to increase your body weight more in the 0.5% of body weight gained per week sort of end of the scale, as opposed to the lower end, again, just because you've got novelty on your side and things of that nature. I think there's more to be said. To go further into it, if you only train 3 times a week, you're probably not going to add as much muscle, therefore body weight, as somebody who's training 5 times a week. So that could be another consideration as well. I would say the general guide of about 0.25% of your body weight to 0.5% of your body weight per week is pretty good. There's a separate conversation if you are not natural, of course, but I think that gauge works really, really well, at least it has done for my clients. But I think what's important to understand is when you're in a phase where you're growing muscle, and this is moving away from the results you should see, now we want to talk about how to kind of actually gauge them and measure them, I guess. When you're in a phase where you're eating in a calorie surplus, a lot of food's getting digested, you'll find that your body weight fluctuates quite a lot. And your body weight fluctuates quite a lot year round anyway, fat loss phase or in a growth phase. But if you're in a growth phase or a building phase or a bulk or whatever you want to call it, you can expect body weight to be a little bit turbulent, and that's just the way it is. So really the best way to measure body weight increases is to weigh yourself every day, or preferably the majority of the days of the week, and you're going to take a note of what that says, and at the end of the week you're going to work out an average for the week, you're going to compare it for the previous week's average, and if your average over time is going up anywhere between 0.25% of body weight per week to 0.5, great. Wherever you fall in that range is totally up to you. But furthering on from that, what I would also pay attention to is your strength in the gym. So you should be on a program and you should be tracking your lifts and you should be trying to progress your lift as much as possible. If your body weight is going up at a rate of 0.5% per week, but you're not getting stronger, that could be a sign that you're just getting fat, and that wouldn't be an issue of food, that would probably be an issue of training practices. You need to either push yourself harder or grasp some sort of an understanding of some sort of basic progression scheme in training and actually try and adhere to that. So that can be a consideration as well. But going back to my point, what I would also do is pay attention to your strength in the gym and make sure you're progressing. And I would also take weekly pictures, whether it be with a coach or for yourself, where you're going to take front, side and back from a consistent place in your house or whatever it is under decent lighting, and every week you're going to take your average body weight, compare it to the previous week, and then look at your pictures, compare it to the previous week, then also consider, okay, how was my training this week? Was it productive? If it was productive, cool. All of these things combined can give you an indication of if you can rely on the body weight increase or not. That's really how it boils down. And I would say, following on from this, as a little bit of a caveat, sometimes with growth, the eye is just the biggest measure of whether you're making progress or not. Understand that you will see yourself every day. You are the most familiar with your physique. You will notice growth in muscles on your body, hopefully faster than anybody else. So don't not trust your eye. If you feel like you're getting bigger, you're feeling fuller, you're feeling stronger over time, good things are happening regardless of what the scales are saying. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So just to summarize, we should be aiming for about a 0.25% body weight increase per week to a 0.5% body weight increase per week. If you're a 100 kilogram person, that is 0.25 kilograms to 0.5 kilograms per week. Wherever you fall in that range really depends on your genetics, how often you train, how young or old you are in your training journey, I guess. A number of things that within that range, it's up to you to decide what is appropriate. And how you measure that is by checking your body weight frequently and drawing an average for the week and comparing the average week to week. Don't compare day to day, compare the average week to week. Take pictures and just assess your training. If you're training and you're getting stronger in the gym, your programming is showing you good things, all is falling in line with that estimation, you're loving what you're seeing in the mirror, you're onto a good thing. If that's the case, you found what works, and just keep doing that for as long as possible. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got any questions, drop them in the group. I'll chat to you in the next one.